Grease lightning, you're burning up a quarter mile.
Oh, Sandy. Her name's not Sandy, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, then it's not going to work. that reference isn't going to work at all. There was exactly one way. There was one chance that was going to work. That the Grease Lightning Corona Love was going to work, and it was if her name was Sandy, and it ain't Sandy. So,
nah, man, that Rona Love.
All right, title of the episode. That Rona Love, please.
We don't do that
retitle.
anymore. We don't do that anymore.
Come on, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Everybody's quarantined. We're all at home. We can have a little bit of fun with this, right? Right, just a little bit. Just some of that Rona Love.
This is gonna age well.
Yeah, you know that's the thing in media. You're not supposed to date yourself with references like that. That's how you screw up a movie and turn a timeless classic into I don't know, Shrek 2.
You notice how in movies, whenever they need to get like in a horror movie specifically, whenever they need to like amp it up, they always say, "Oh, I don't have I've only got like 2 bars on my phone." Like they take the phone completely out of the element. Smart thing.
Yeah. Well, except in the future when cell phone signals come from your brain, those kids are gonna roll their eyes at that type of reference.
They might have to roll their eyes to hang up, for all we know.
Oh, that's a certain amount of blinks. That's
sorry,
how you get
it. Talking to my dad.
Yeah, sorry. Don't mind me as I look away and there we go. Sorry, I was on the phone.
All right. Sorry, I was on the phone with my mother. She was telling me I couldn't have a prom this weekend. All right, sorry.
This weekend? Your mother tells you that?
My mother did. I don't know. I was just putting words together. We all know this. We all know.
I feel like there's a deeper story there that needs to be explored.
I don't think
was your mother in charge of your prom, Dan?
No.
It took thinking to answer that question. It took a little bit of thought to answer that.
Well, so, did you guys go to your senior proms?
Yes.
Yes, I went to my prom.
What? How was it?
It was fun. Had a good time.
Okay.
It's all right. It was entirely forgettable.
Yeah.
I think we all sung the Vitamin C song about something. And every single in my graduating class was probably like 400, 500 people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them were there, and we were all in one giant circle. We saved all of our funds all 4 years to get our senior prom at one of the most prominent Philly hotels in Center City. So it was a very glamorous senior prom. And I forget, I think it was Vitamin C. It was either Vitamin C or Mandy Moore. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of them. It had some song about the future and about goodbye and whatever. And so we all held hands and sung. We had our school was pretty large and everybody got along pretty well. There really wasn't that much beef that went around with all the different cliques and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's almost so big that there wasn't any of that.
What an oddly wholesome prom.
Yeah.
Well, let me put this in perspective. I was captain of the hockey team. I was on yearbook staff, and I was in Spanish club my senior year.
He was
Those are
listening
three
to a
things
lot
you
of
probably wouldn't
ska.
think are very connected, right? So yeah, there was a lot of, and I wasn't the only person who was involved in a lot of different things in high school. So that's kind of how we all were. We were pretty close.
That's awesome.
That's actually pretty interesting. The only thing I remember about my prom is that no one got arrested.
Yeah.
And that was seen as a triumph.
I mean, also nobody got arrested. Yeah, I mean that too.
Maybe my school neighborhood was a little bit different.
I don't know about that.
I was let's see, I like the only memorable thing I think I can remember that I did in high school. I was the morning announcements guy.
Clearly.
Shocker, right?
Didn't see that one coming.
Clearly.
Yeah, weird, right? It's funny. I took that class and everybody, it was supposed to be a rotating circle of who was going to be doing the televised announcements.
No.
Who was going to be announcing? No. After the first week of class, suddenly it was, it's 7:49. Sean, get up on the anchor desk.
Such a good job.
Why is it always me? I was legitimately upset. I used to get annoyed at my teacher because she was kind of absent-minded, but every time it was about time for us to go live, I'd be looking at the clock you realize nobody's recorded announcements for today. We're gonna have to do it live, like Bill O'Reilly style. And she's like, oh yeah, Sean, go up there and do it. Why? Kenny's right here. Kenny's fine at it. He's good at it. I never understood it until years later when I started a YouTube channel and read comments.
Yeah.
That's how it happened. But I remember after prom, I recorded a morning announcement for her, and like she wanted me to make note that there was nobody arrested at our prom. They were very proud of everyone.
That's how you remember that?
That's how I remember that. It's no one was arrested.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
a good night. It was a good night. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 232 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Look, when you're under quarantine, you just start reminiscing and talking about things. Don't judge. Don't judge old people for doing something like that. We're all stuck at home. We're bored. We're out of our minds. We've been singing in the showers and singing on streams, including singing happy birthday to somebody. Going to get into that just a little bit, but you have to forgive us. Joining us, of course, our usual roundtable of hosts, Mr. Dan Finity.
Oh, hi.
Hey, good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Doing well. Can't complain. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Reminiscing. You got me thinking of high school now. And the birthday boy himself, a birthday man, Mr. Aura. It's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's your
And I'll go
birthday,
flawless
buddy.
if I want to.
Did you, though? Did you go flawless
Yeah.
this week?
Yeah, week number 2 in a row. Twice this week. A lot of fun. Really fun this week. And really frustrating at the same time. We'll get into that. It progresses. But yes, it is. It is indeed my birthday.
Right on. Happy birthday, brother. Glad you went flawless. Did you get yourself a decent shotgun?
No, I dude, the weird thing about me is that I don't like kinetic special weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really used kinetic special weapons since like the Supremacy, right? Is that it? The sniper rifle?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was kind of the last time it would use that in like Luna's Howl or something. Because on controller, like I watch Ninja with Noel a lot. And if he swaps that, he'll switch his number 1 and number 2 so that no matter what, number 1 is always his primary weapon. Number
Mhm.
2 is always his special weapon, right? And controller players don't have that option. I can't remap
No.
my swap.
No.
So that's part of it too, is always having to forget where I'm at and which weapon I want to pull. I have enough problems
Yeah.
hitting my shots. I'm gonna worry about all that logistics crap. No, I got a shotgun. I don't really care. I hear good things about it, but I've yet to see somebody put it into motion to where I'm like, oh
Mhm.
god, that was a wild shotgun shot. It's still Mindbenders that's doing all the work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It-
despite the patch update to knock down the range on shotguns, Mindbenders is still pretty much everywhere in PvP. And I think part of that is probably because those new maps are very close range maps. So everybody, shotguns are pretty good in those environments. But shotguns didn't get the gigantic nerf that I think a lot of people were thinking they were going to get there. Yeah, they got hit on range, but it was much less severe than, well, the nerfs that some other things got. Have you guys had a chance to play around with specifically those long range shotties?
I have
No.
not.
No, I mean I used my Mindbenders last weekend for trials and it was okay. This weekend it's been inconsistent to the point where I've just started running Erentil again.
Yeah.
And trying to be second person in a fight or keep that mid range, that 20-meter distance
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And a couple of cards I was able to do that. And some teams that are very aggressive and really move really well, they're going to close the gap before I have a chance to be effective. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I didn't run into a lot of players like that. I ran into players who were passive. I ran into players who didn't challenge the right lane. I ran into so many players who just held forward from nowhere of cover. I mean, if you're going to make it easy for me, I'm going to capitalize. But a lot of it was a lot of the shotguns. My Mindbender's issue is, especially playing on a Warlock, is that I bunny hop so much. I'm always floating,
Yeah.
and as soon as you float, you become RNG.
You're dead.
Even if with
Yeah.
Icarus, your shotgun becomes way more inconsistent. So I think people are getting more out of their shotguns if they're staying more grounded, sliding a whole lot more, staying on the ground, feet on the ground. I'm in the air so GD much
Mm-hmm.
that they just haven't been very good for me.
Yeah, no, I feel you with that. When I'm playing in PvP, rarely am I just straight dashing anything.
Yeah.
Warlocks already have, decent aerial abilities with it. I think it's Top Tree Dawnblade that gets the midair dodge.
Midair
Yeah.
dodge and the melee you can throw.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm in the air quite a bit, and I've tried playing around with my mind benders and a couple of other shotguns, and same issue. I just feel like they're not that consistent for me, and it's probably because in-air accuracy penalties are still a little ridiculous in this game. So I've been sticking to other things.
Yeah.
To each his
I
own.
ran Last Word Arantil for my entire card today, and
Oh,
yep,
How was last
and
word?
it was really neat. There's Last Word's weird. It's a weird weapon. I can confirm that on controller it's still very strong. I don't know if
Yeah.
that translates to console or not, but on PC it gets the job done. It gets the job done well. Some of the hit registration things are a little weird where
yeah.
I'll see damage tick 3 inches from where my crosshair was after my crosshair was on them. It's a weird thing. It's very strange, especially side to side movement. But I had no problem carving people down with Last Word this weekend at all. It's been a very, very good weapon for me personally. So Last Word Arantil for my card this afternoon, and then Saturday morning it was Arantil Malfeasance, which I have such a love-hate relationship with that gun.
I'm surprised you're still using it.
But the second you jump in air, it's gone. There's nothing. There's no. And the thing about exotics is, I wish you could put like a mod on it. I wish I could put Icarus
Yeah.
on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know. But the second you jump with either, the thing about Last Word is even it is not that great in air. But
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah, it's very weird. I wish that they would make the change to the way they do in-air accuracy for certain weapons. Like I think certain weapon archetypes probably shouldn't have in-air accuracy penalties at all, and hand cannons would probably be one of those weapon categories because it's such a random thing that definitely doesn't feel good in a lot of situations. But I'm definitely right there with you when it comes to Last Word. We talked a bit about this last week. The Last Word, of course, got the fat slap from Bungie in terms of mouse and keyboard performance. It's got less range. You can no longer ADS and get those high precision damage numbers. It's got more recoil on mouse and keyboard. But curiously, the gun feels way more consistent on controller on both console and on PC. So if you're out there, if you haven't used the Last Word because it used to feel awful with the controller, try it out. It's kind of dumb now to the point where, like Aura was saying, shots that maybe probably shouldn't have been headshots are considered headshots now when you're hip firing. I've noticed a couple of odd issues where basically anything like this level of chest or around here is just going to go whoop, straight up into the face. Get precision shot.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's
and
really
I'm glad you brought up the ADS point because my entire run of Trials, I didn't ADS at once. It was all hip fire. And I played a game of sixes before I played Trials today, and I did ADS that one game, and I literally had to wait for it to recenter.
yeah.
I had to wait for the entire animation and the crosshairs to come back to 0 before I could fire again and hit my shot. The ADS is not effective. It is a hip fire gun. For anybody out there who wants to give it a whirl, give it a shot. Do not ADS.
Yeah, don't ADS and laugh. I'm seeing people in chat talking about it. Yeah, it feels like the bullet magnetism when you hip fire has been messed with a little bit. A bit more testing, I think, needs to be done before I can say anything, definitive. But it definitely feels like it's a lot stronger now on controller than it was before update 2.8.0. So get out there and have fun with the primary that still kills, I think, the fastest in the game. That's pretty darn good. But all right, we're on the subject of PvP. Trials week 2. Why don't we go ahead and just dive on into that conversation? Because there were a few things I wanted to talk about with Trials of week 2. As you guys know, it's Anomaly this week.
Mm-hmm.
How did that go, Aura?
It is hard light hell. It was as if Bungie planned the hard light buff specifically around having this map be Trials.
Oh yeah,
Cyrus week 2. There are so many shapes that bounce hard light rounds off of 2 and even 3 times that people were able to wall off entire sides of a map with it.
Yeah.
Obnoxious. But oddly enough, I didn't run into that many people using it. What gave us the most amount of fits was Revoker.
Really?
So I didn't know this because I don't use the gun. but Revoker will infinitely refund you a round that you miss. Infinitely. Forever.
Mm.
As long as you miss, you'll get at least one bullet back. If you hit your teammate, you won't get it back. If you hit a body shot, you won't get that round back. If you get a kill, you won't get that round back. But you can miss for decades and still get a bullet back. I thought it was one time. I thought if you missed one time, you got one round back. That's what I thought. I have seen more of that this weekend than anything, personally. Yeah. And every situation is unique to itself. I understand that. But Revoker was what gave us the most amount of fits, because as a player who used his Beloved, if I was sniping, I got two shots only.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was Revoker that gave us the most amount of issues. The thing about Hardlight and ARs in general is you're just dead. The second you get shot, you're just automatically gone. So we had to do a lot of bait and switching and try and flank people that weren't paying attention. The one thing about it is you get a lot of people who ADS for 49 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So that causes a lot of people not pay attention to what's going on around them too much. So we were able to, like, literally, I was able to walk up directly next to somebody who was still firing down a lane and put a shotgun in his ear.
Right.
I'd love to see the look on his face when he turned left.
Yeah, that tunnel vision effect. And I hadn't thought about that, but it makes a lot of sense when it comes to Anomaly and Hardlight, because people do just get tunnel vision thinking, okay, well, we know the enemy was in that room. We're just going to keep firing and banking shots off the wall until I get a hit marker. So I guess that would be pretty easy to bait people into doing, while you just kind of walk around the corner, drop down, one floor, head through the cave, and come up around the side of their face and give them those hands. But it wasn't too rough of a time then, huh?
A lot of arc webbing going on as well. This was also a very strong map for Antaeus wards on Titan, which I didn't run into once during my card today, thank God. So Antaeus wards provides 360 degrees of protection.
Mm-hmm.
It'll deflect shots behind you, right? So that was something that I struggled with mightily on Friday. It was everywhere. Every single Titan we played against had Antaeus wards, sometimes three of them. Dune Marchers with the chaining of the whatever it is, the arc web, it almost looks like, has been really strong too, because that thing chains for up to 20 meters, which, I mean, I was halfway across the map from somebody and got hit with it. So, like, it's a very, very, very long range. Titans have a big advantage of this weekend, in my opinion. It was definitely a Titan favorable scenario, but yeah, Trials was it's still a lot of fun. All the things that are annoying, all the things that make you like scream and yell, like, why, Bungie, why? I still had a great time with all my teammates playing. I still want to get back in. I've gone flawless already. I just want to play with as many people as I can, because it's a different side of Crucible that we haven't seen in so long. And it really is, even with all the crap.
Right.
Geez, it's still fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be the sentiment I'm seeing basically everywhere. A lot of people are really happy with the way Trials has panned out here in Destiny 2. And that love is continuing. I saw a lot of people who were really excited about the shotgun that was available this week, to the point where there were some people advertising the fact that you shouldn't go flawless this week. Stop at 3 wins and then just start farming the shotgun?
Yeah, so after there was a bug this week where you weren't earning any loot from Trials of Osiris unless you went flawless and opened the chest. So win 3, 5, and 7 wasn't dropping any loot. They fixed that bug yesterday at reset, or 5 p.m., somewhere around there. They fixed that bug. And so you're only able to farm that shotgun if you actually got it to drop at your 3rd win. If you didn't get to drop at your 3rd win, you
can't farm it.
You can't farm at all. You could reset your card as much as you want. It's never going to drop for that character. It actually happened to me on my Warlock. I couldn't turn tokens in at Saint 14, even though I played Friday and Saturday. I still couldn't even turn in my tokens. But yeah, there's rumors. I'm going to call it rumors. Maybe it was on Reddit. But there was rumors that people in elite level teams were just going in and farming 3 wins, resetting the card over and over and over again, just so they could get shots at rolling the shotgun. I didn't see evidence of it. I didn't see any broadcasters doing it. No one was talking about it in Discords, like, oh, let's just go farm for this thing. Whether or not that was a mistake, I'm not sure. You can still earn it from turning in your tokens. It's just that you're guaranteed to get it for your 3rd win every time.
Yeah.
So,
which that's interesting. It almost makes me wonder if that should possibly be the way it is anyway. Because I know that you can continue running things for tokens and whatnot and roll for things, but it almost feels like maybe you should get set drops for every certain number of wins you go. Like Every 3 wins, you have a chance at that shotgun. So if you want to clear your card and try again for a shotgun, you just clear it and go for 3 wins again. I wonder if that'll be something that they codify in the future, just to allow people to more directly farm for things.
But if it's a weapon, shouldn't it be further along than 3?
Yes.
There's not enough people playing.
Yeah.
Like Trials really has felt like way more difficult than it was in
Really?
D1. It really, for me, I've had 2 easy cards out of the 40. I mean, I don't even know. I have like, oh God, I have to look. I have like over 100 wins. I've like, and only 2 flawlesses. Like I've gotten to Lighthouse
Yeah.
games and lost them more times than I can count, which is a long investment. That's a time investment. It's like an hour,
That's
if
a
not more,
long
to
time.
get there. And so it has felt way sweatier to me than it has in the past. And so if you're going to tie a weapon to the loot pool in order to keep the player base higher, because people don't really farm for armor, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, I would hope that you would put it at a higher win tier to keep more people in the player base, so that maybe it's not that crazy, that difficult. And maybe the players that aren't crazy good have an opportunity, because outside of being carried, I'm not sure how many average players have even come close. I mean, I'm in Discord conversations with community members who are fighting to get to 3,
Yeah.
having the most
Yeah.
difficult time to get to 3 wins. And that makes me worry that people are going to leave the player pool.
Yeah.
So, good, Dan?
I have a buddy who was posting like he was really excited for Trials to come back, and I don't think he went last weekend. I don't think he went flawless this weekend, but he's like, like this just kind of makes me feel like a really average player when he thought that he had advanced so far.
I felt
Yeah.
like, dude, I mean, I am not terrible.
Right.
And I felt like the worst player on the planet playing with some of the teams I ran with this weekend. Like I just could not compete with some of these players. They weren't cheating. They were just that much better than me. And
Yeah.
and I'm not that great, but I'm also not that bad. If there's
Yeah.
players who are worse than me, where are you at on this thing? Like,
Yeah. I
did
don't
you
know.
try? Did you play it all?
I did not play it all this weekend. So this weekend has been like, it's been really weird. I like did a lot of editing on Friday for different projects, and then today we just ran for PvE helps and just helped people get through. We did like a couple raids and couple Whisper of the Worm missions, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I didn't dive into Trials yet. I'm still like, I think the highest that one of my characters can get is my Warlock can get to 1k1 without much issue. It's just
Mhm.
getting it's I'm still grinding out my other characters, so I don't know.
Once you hit 1,001, you're pretty much in good shape with the artifact being disabled. You're not going to be
Okay.
at too much of a disadvantage of a 10-10 player.
Mhm.
I went in at like 999 on my Warlock, and I didn't have too much issue. I ran into one
Okay.
player. His name was Lanza. By the way, Lanza, GG, you're incredible. That he was the only guy I couldn't kill, and so he had some spike grenade placements that made me just drop my jaw. Like I was like, I can't believe you actually put a grenade right there. Like didn't even think you had that angle, let alone that grenade landing
Right.
behind me. So that was one of our Lighthouse matches. Lanza's a good player. I know of Lanza, but so that was it. I mean, I was 1,000, he was 1,005, and I basically died instantly to that spike grenade.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
so,
the I haven't seen too much of a crazy power disparity. There aren't a lot of 950s and 960s.
yeah.
There's
running
a
in
couple,
Trials.
but not many. And
Yeah.
and if you're sniping, you're still going to be okay at that point. It's the
Mhm.
it's where your primary gun's not going to be all that great, and your super might take 2 swipes as opposed to 1. I see a couple
Right,
of those
yeah.
things happening. Did you play it all, TBO?
No, I haven't had time to play basically anything this week. It's been a grocery shopping weekend for obvious
yeah.
reasons, shall we say.
Yeah.
Didn't have to work this weekend, so this was my weekend to go and buy everything I needed for the foreseeable future. So I didn't even really get a chance to watch much Trials, which really bums me out because Bungie introduced something super interesting this week to tie into Trials of Osiris, a brand new Twitch extension that is
Mhm.
going to allow you to watch your favorite trial streamers react to their plays, wins and losses live, and gain rewards in game for doing so. This was announced in the TWAB this week, and I think it's, by the way, thank you, Aura, for setting up the most perfect segue I have ever done on this show.
I got you, dude.
Pro.
I got you. Don't lose it now. We got the momentum. Let's go.
Come
Keep
on,
going.
let's go.
Right. But basically, there's a new Twitch extension. You can link it up to your Bungie account, which, of course, is tied to your Steam account, is tied to your Xbox Live account, is tied to your PS4 account. And by going and watching people who have activated that extension on their Twitch pages, you can watch them make plays, and you can actually gain rewards in-game for doing so. I think you can gain Glimmer, experience, and surprisingly enough, Trials tokens for watching people play Trials.
They know who their audience is.
Oh, they know. They know. Let's be real. I'm a very slightly above average PvP player. If like the average is 50, I'm 50.5. they know who their audience is. I love watching Trials. I D1, that was my weekend. I'd sit back on a Saturday while I was playing a game or something, grinding things out, and I'd be watching Trials on my second screen. That's what I've been doing here in D2. This is for me. This is definitely for me. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a cool idea. This is the kind of thing I would love to see them expand upon.
Well, it's kind of like the Borderlands EchoCast extension.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I really like the fact that it is viewer interactive. So and rewarding people who are they may not have time to play, but you can still get something out of it. Especially if especially the XP gains for people who struggle to get to 100 on their card or on their season pass. That's super interesting. Yeah. I have seen some criticisms of it.
It does take up a lot of the screen.
Takes up a lot of the screen. It's about a third of the screen.
Nope. It covers a somewhat crucial portion of the screen at that.
Yep.
Maybe I don't understand why developers have such an issue with opacity. Like,
I don't know.
Bungie has an issue with allowing us to see through crests, through special ammo, heavy ammo, to any kind of icon at all. It's difficult for us. We can't see through them.
Yep.
And Twitch is having an issue with this extension. Add a little of opacity to it. It doesn't need to be solid, bold colors the way that it is. Let's allow us to actually view the content here.
Yeah.
That's probably the only gripe I have with it.
I think the Destiny Tracker 1 extension that's on there, it does about the same job. You can move it around, and it's a little less like in your face. With the interface, but you don't get the XP gains from it, which is like whatever. So there are alternatives out there, but I don't know. I could see this if they fine tune it and mess around with it quite a bit. I can see it being something that they can use through all the game. Like if you're watching Gambit matches or tournaments, that could be a thing. Raid races, you'd be able to see like what encounter they're on. And earn stuff that way. I see a lot of different things that they can use this for. I'm glad that they're testing it out with Trials, but I'm excited to see where they go from there. I think I posted this week, wondering if like not only could they do that for raids, but also like maybe clan stuff. Like maybe add
that'd be cool.
So you can click on the clan, and if you liked what you saw from the group on Twitch or whatever, you could say, hey, I want to join this group. That would be super neat.
Or an invite.
Yeah. So I don't know.
There's a lot of possibility there. I think it was good that you mentioned Dim there, because of course this extension doesn't really do anything new. Yeah, there have been third-party extensions that have shown loadouts and stuff like that for as long as Destiny has been a thing on Twitch. But this is, of course, the first time Bungie has officially made one. And the fact that it can get you Glimmer and XP and Trials tokens is a really, really great way to keep your audience engaged, even when they're not playing your game. Because a lot of people watch Destiny. Look at the Destiny directory on Twitch when Trials goes live. A lot of people watch Destiny, and this is a great way to keep people interested in your game, to reward them for showing interest in your game, and hopefully to get them to jump back into your game, so they can use those tokens. And I'm right there with you, Dan. This needs to be a thing for world's first raid races.
Yes,
it just does. That is the next thing that they should be putting into this Twitch extension. Could you imagine all the people that sit back and watch a world's first race for a new raid, being able to take part in that, watch it, and get in-game rewards for doing so?
If they had like, oh man, If there was like a
So-
bar that like showed progress through the like maybe it said like there were 4
Oh,
activities on
man.
the thing, and maybe there was a bar that showed how far they were or how close they were compared to other teams.
Right.
Oh, that would be a cool use of it. I would want it to take up
Cool.
less space though.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah.
So to jump back a little bit, when you acquire trials tokens, they are something that you turn in with Saint 14 for gear.
Mhm.
And I think it takes 20 to get a package, 20 tokens, maybe,
I believe so. Yeah.
to earn a package, similar to other vendors. And that's a really, really good way to farm loot without actually having to play the game mode if you're not a fan. So being rewarded for watching, meaning that you only have to be in there for your 3 wins to unlock the loot pool
Yep.
itself. I think you need to have 3
Yep.
wins to turn in tokens. Might actually encourage more people to take shots at playing the game mode itself, which it desperately
Exactly.
needs.
Well,
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, Dan?
there is that, but there's also no. You go ahead and finish because I just realized
Well,
that
no,
my
I'm
argument's
completely
kind of
derailed. I forget where I
half
was
dumb.
going. Like I had momentum, and now
I'm
it's
sorry.
I
off
have
the
it.
tracks.
God, I'm easily distracted.
Happy birthday.
So, thank you. Trials tokens, given the same 14.
3
Blah
wins,
blah blah.
add more
Opacity,
people into the
something
pool-
like that,
into the gaming
something.
pool.
I don't know where I was going. I'm out.
Encouraging people to actually try the game mode is, I think, the point you were making there. Since you do have to have 3 wins in order to turn those tokens in.
Right. You have to have 3 wins to turn your tokens in to earn the gear. And yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it there.
It kind of reminds me though of like around Destiny 2 vanilla when like you were in a clan and you could get tokens for
free.
for free. And like it's
Yeah.
different than getting rolls for
Right, but
free,
did-
which is what you got with Destiny 2 vanilla. But
Yeah.
don't know.
So you're correct in the analogy, but this would be like you would, instead of just going to Hawthorne and getting the clan engram, you'd actually have to play the game mode and achieve a certain
Yeah.
level before you could,
Yeah.
that
you
weekend,
don't have to go flawless to get your reward, but you'd have to actually have to play and earn some form of progress.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Whether that was, I mean, Bungie's done bounties where it's like earn this percentage, losses count as 1%, wins count as 5. They've done that forever so that you're still progressing a bounty. They could, you have to play the game to get the reward, the game mode, which I think is good. I think it's
Yeah.
the best of both worlds. The other thing I was going to say in regards to progress and where you're at is if I'm Twitch and the majority of my money comes from ad revenue, how many viewers are bouncing back and forth between 20 different channels looking for raffles, looking to see who's close to an end of
Yeah.
a card?
Yeah.
This thing is going to help facilitate. I don't think it's good for broadcasting, but it's good for Twitch, where I think it's going to help facilitate people doing a bit more channel surfing. People might be more inclined to watch when you're at the 7th
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
match of a
absolutely.
card versus when you're on the 3rd match of a card, thinking I'm not going to be able to enter a raffle for a half hour kind of thing.
Right.
So it could encourage and generate a little bit more ad revenue for the platform. And I want Twitch to make money. I hate the ad revenue system right now, but
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. And you're absolutely right. People are going to naturally look for probably 2 things primarily when it comes to watching trials. They're going to look for people who are on their high games, 6 or 7, because those are the sweatiest games on the docket. And they're going to be looking for people who are doing carries because they're trying to hop onto a team and get carried to their flawless. So yeah, this is probably going to facilitate a lot more people bouncing between broadcasters, which you're right, good for Twitch, maybe a little bit more frustrating for those who are actually streaming at the time. But overall, I think this is a pretty good system that Bungie has facilitated here. I think they definitely need to work with their UI people to create a less intrusive user interface there. Turn that opacity meter up just a little bit, or just let us control it. Let us control how the opacity works there, and add it into other things. There's so many other systems that this could work with, just in Destiny 2 alone. And I think the next time we get a raid, having a world's first raid extension, so people can watch along with that and possibly even get in-game rewards doing that. I think that's probably a great way to move forward. It's just a good idea. It's a neat little thing, and I'm really happy Bungie put it into effect. Have you guys used it?
I mean, it's been in almost all the channels that I've been hanging out in over the course of the weekend. I wouldn't know. I'm still trying to learn how to interact with it to leave the review on the thing, like the thumbs up or the thumbs down or whatnot. I'm right clicking on stuff. I'm looking through settings and it's probably right in front of my face and I just can't see it because I'm an idiot. But I haven't done any interacting with it. I like to turn it off once if it's a channel that I'm going to be in regardless, I'm going to turn it off.
Yep.
If I'm watching Ninja with Noel and he's running with Ramblin', I'm going to watch that no matter what. So I don't care about the extension, but I do see its value.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty neat idea moving forward for something like Trials and some of the other special activities we've got in D2. Good job, Bungie. Needs a little bit of tweaking, but good idea overall. After that, Aura, since you're the big Trials guy here, I got a question for you. Are you a light maker or a light breaker?
What's the one of them like blocks people from like going,
Yes.
Is that what it is? Is that where this is going?
Yeah.
I'm either blocking people from going. Well, I've only gotten 3 flawlesses now total out of 2 weekends and a lot of playing. I would say that I am neither.
Yeah.
And as evil as I am, and as much of a douche as I can be sometimes, I don't want to stand in the way of somebody going flawless who's never been. If I match my friends and they're doing a carry for someone who it's their first run, I will leave the lobby in a heartbeat. I'm going to get my flawless. It's going to be a pain in the ass, but I'm going to get it.
Right.
I don't want to be somebody who blocks it. I don't want to take pride in somebody who prevents other people from going. I don't think that's great. But as some of the NPCs in the game have said, there's a fine line between the likeness and the darkness, and which side are you on? And I as evil as I claim to be, I don't like, when it comes to Trials, I don't like standing in the way. I'll be the first person, Dan can attest to this. If we're running a raid and we get to the at the end of the second encounter of Garden of Salvation, you got to kill the 3 angelics at the very end.
Yep.
You got that tether going in the middle. I'll be the first person to make sure nobody gets tethered, nobody gets an enlightened buff, and you got to kill all 3 angelics before you can create that tether and clear out the ads. If you want to troll people in a raid and derail everything, that is the best troll you can do.
Throw a
And
bubble
I
up
did
over the
that to
angelic.
Dan. On purpose. I've done that. I have made it so nobody can get tethered, nobody can get the enlightened buff. Everything is sacrificing, and you've got 3 angelics. That's a fun time for me.
Yeah.
And I'll do that every day.
I mean, it's a laugh for sure.
It's
the
a
first
really,
time.
and it's, I'll tell you what, if there's a raid challenge out there that is unique, that is it. That is not easy to do. It's not easy to do. So
some would say it's unintentional. You're not supposed to do it like that.
No, you're not supposed to do it like that. But I'll do that before I try and get in anybody's way going flawless. If I know people and I know that they're trying to get there, I'll get out of the way. I'm not like that.
Right. And of course, what I'm referring to here is the Light Maker and Light Breaker system that's in D2 with Trials right now. Bungie actually gave you a way to designate what type of player you are with the Light for the Lost emblem, I think is the Light Maker emblem, which basically symbolizes that you're somebody who likes to carry people to the lighthouse. You help people go flawless. You help people get their gear. And it changes the color of your armor glow when you're wearing your Trials gear. I think that's what causes the white glow for going flawless. If you're a dick, you get to be a Light Breaker with the emblem of Flawless Empyrean, I think it was, which shows basically how many wins you've gotten after you've gone flawless already. So how many other lighthouse trips you've ruined with your win streak in Trials. It's a small thing, and of course that makes you glow red. It's a small thing, but I like that Bungie is embracing these natural roles that popped up throughout the history of Trials, because nobody was designated as a Sherpa by Bungie.
Right.
Nobody was designated as that dick who just wants to block you because they know you're on your 6th win. But I like that Bungie is embracing the player roles there and giving you a way to represent that in the game itself. It's a pretty neat little way to handle those sorts of things. I don't know if they have an emblem for ruining flawless raid runs.
Listen, it wasn't flawless because Dan
it was
died way
not
before
flawless.
that.
I died.
Dan had died way
early.
before that.
Way
But
early.
it's just funny that Bungie comes up with all these raid challenges. And I think we came up with inadvertently what could be considered the most difficult challenge in the raid.
It would be funny if there was an emblem for the person who caused the most trolldom in a raid.
I mean, I've done a whole bunch of things running with Dan. I've dropped a bubble down the lane that the Angelic is coming up so that nobody can shoot it. Like,
why?
Because I know that we're gonna overcome it. Because I know we're gonna get past it. You know? And I'll tell you what, the second encounter in Garden of Salvation, when you're running between all the different totems and you're trading your enlightened buff, it's a pretty long encounter for even speedrunners. It takes a decent amount of time to clear all the angelics and go to mid. Then once you get to mid, you've got another wave of 3 angelics. And so I wait till the very last moment of that encounter to throw a monkey wrench right in the middle of it. You know, that's a good, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes worth of work.
It was a good laugh.
Nobody panicked. We did it.
Nobody left. Nobody got angry.
Nobody left. Yeah.
Y'all just laughed, got over it, said F you, Aura, a couple times. And
well, you listen, I don't think I got enough credit for how hard it is to break that tether and make sure nobody gets that buff, all right? You got to do some real clowny stuff to break that tether over and over again. You got to be number 2 in line and walk around a pole a bunch to break that sequence. You got to get back in line in time to re-catch it before the person who's actually in line picks it up. Like, I want a little bit of credit where credit is due here.
I'm giving it to you. Off. It was a lot of work. You deserve an emblem for it, Aura. But yeah.
Well done. I don't. Maybe there's an emblem out there.
Bag of dicks emblem.
Yeah.
It's just Dick Buttkiss's face. It's over and over again.
Yeah.
Just for you, Aura. I wouldn't be mad if that was the name of it. Just for you, Aura. Just for you. Speaking of a bag of dicks, Iron Banner's coming back next week. Everybody's psyched about that, right? Off of the relative highs of Trials of Osiris being fantastic, we get to realize how awful PvP can be once again with the return of the Iron Banner. First one of season 10, boys. And if you're one of the people out there who enjoys pinnacle weapons or ritual weapons as they're known now, oh boy, do we have the best ritual weapon for you in the best PvP game mode coming up. Who's going for that bow? A showing of hands.
Do we know what's on it?
Yes. Talk about it. I'll be right back. I got to light.gg. It's there.
I haven't played Iron Banner in a very long time. I've avoided it as much as I possibly can because I don't enjoy Iron Banner. This meta can be very frustrating. And the last thing that I really want to run into is 6 Revoker hard lights.
Yeah.
It's enough having 3 of them. I don't need to run into 6.
Well, you're gonna, and the reward for it is called the Point of the Stag. It is a legendary Iron Banner bow that comes. It is a precision frame bow. It's got elastic string for decreased accuracy, faster draw time, and slightly increased handling speed. Natural fletching for slightly decreased accuracy and greatly increased stability. No distractions is one of the 4 selectable perks on it. It's got a lot of perks. Archers, or you can choose between no distractions or Archer's Tempo, where draw time decreases after every precision hit. And its final 2 perks are either Vorpal Weapon, which gives you increased damage against bosses, vehicles, and guardians with their super active, and Eye of the Storm, which of course gives you more accuracy and handling as your health gets lower. That's the perks you can choose from on the Point of the Stag. Does that sound like something you're interested in, or?
No.
No.
I can appreciate a good bow player, and by appreciate I mean I hate them, but I can appreciate them because they make life. I mean, that is a really good bow hand cannon player is almost impossible to counter. You're dead before you can react to the fact that you even got hit by it. And I've seen a couple of them in trials this weekend with Le Monarch and whatever you want to insert as the hand cannon. So I can appreciate players who are good and that sounds like a really good role for somebody who is really good with bows.
Yeah.
I don't care for bows. I don't like Iron Banner. I think this week for me is going to be solo comp to 5,500. I'm at 31 something now, all solo. So I think I want to do Legend solo the rest of this week.
Not a bad way to handle that. And yeah, I mean, bows can be nasty in PvP, to quote Astacross. It doesn't happen often. But the few times that you run into a good Hush player, it's noticeable. It's pretty noticeable with how crazy some of their shots can just tear through you, and with the quickness with which they can do that. But yeah, bow hand cannon is a pretty silly combination when you get the damage of a bow and the quickness of how fast you can draw your arrow and all that kind of stuff. It's it can be pretty nutty. And Liminarch, nobody uses it, but that AoE poison burst, the AoE fart cloud, can be pretty handy in certain situations.
I see it in Crucible a lot because you're already one shot the second that the arrow hits you. You're already one body shot away, and the damage over time that it ticks means that you're preventing me from recovering. So even where if I get to cover, I am still very vulnerable to some form of collapse. And we witnessed that a lot this weekend. I didn't see it very much on the map last week, Burnout. Yeah. But this week on Anomaly, we ran into quite a few bow players, honestly, on PC anyway. I don't know about again. I can't comment on console, but on PC, we ran into quite a few.
Yeah, they definitely. They're a class that's on the back burner, but they're good. They can be really good with the amount of damage that they can put out and the speed with which they can do that. So who knows? Maybe Point of the Stag might be worth your time. But man, Iron Banner is just such a drag to play. It isn't fun. And I can only imagine the quest steps that are tied to this. Yeah. And I'm not the best bow player when it comes to PvP, and I'm definitely not going to enjoy using a bow in Iron Banner.
I'm just going to do what I do every Iron Banner. Just get 5 of my buddies around and be like, "Hey, you want to play this?
Want to pub stomp?
You want to try?" And then we're all going to have beers because we can't do anything else. And then we're all gonna laugh and shoot the things and shoot the people. We might not win. We probably won't win. But
it's not a matter of winning. It's a matter of an infuriating, like, objection-based game mode with AoE everything. Yeah. And the thing that Bungie hasn't done that they should have done this season was loosen the skill-based matchmaking across all the playlists, because Trials has it intrinsically. Once you get to that 6, once you get higher in a card, you're going to start playing against better players. And so it's in there already. It's already available to players. Comp is supposed to be skill-based matchmaking. My solo run to Legend has been I've been the best player in every lobby that I've played in so far. That's been a breeze. But let's loosen up the search parameters. Let's get more players in faster. Let's get the games over with quicker. Let's reduce the lag and the tick rates for everybody, so that at least when you shoot a shot, it's going to land where you fired it. Like, I understand like protecting players from the pool sharks out there, but there's only so much you're really going to do by keeping all of us rabid wolves together. Plus, playing against top 1% players when you're forced to use weapons you're not used to using makes you a not top 1% player.
Yep.
I am no longer a god if I have to put a bow in my hand.
Yep.
I'm not a fusion rifle god anymore. Now I'm an average player with a bow. So like that's also part of this too. And that's what I think what they said when they described the bounty in the TWAB. It sounded like there was going to be 2 quests, one of which was going to be weapon oriented to progress.
Right, and the other one I think is just their usual seasonal quest to get the armor.
Yeah,
which is as long as there's not a get 150 rocket launchers, kill step this time around. But I'm right there with you, man. Like, matchmaking is going to have to change. The player numbers, I'm sure, have seen a bit of a bump since Trials has come, but probably not enough to make a huge difference. And look, I don't care about throwing the new players to the wolves. Whatever. That happens. It's life. Right now, the matchmaking in Destiny is so ridiculous. It's way too tight. There needs to be a loosening of the chains there across the board and everything but comp. Comp is supposed to be the big, skill-based matchmaking playlist. And I feel like this is the hill that the Bungie devs are going to die on, because they have fought on it since D1. So,
True Vanguard had an interesting tweet this weekend where he showed a screen of like a game he had played. Mm-hmm. And he talked about like whatever skill-based matchmaking is what it is, but like lobby balancing is where a lot of this issue comes into play. He's like, I'm paired with a player who only got 2 kills in in 10 minutes because they weren't good enough to kill anybody in this game. Like, what are we actually doing by using both of these? Like, so, you know, I thought that was an interesting message to the developers, and I hope that they're listening, you know.
I hope so. As things are right now, it ain't working. We've litigated that multiple times over the history of this show, so we don't need to go too deep into that anymore.
Right.
But yeah, Iron Banners this week. I'm probably not going to spend much time playing it. Maybe I'll jump in and see exactly how hard the quest is, and if my first couple of games go poorly, I've got other things to play right now.
I mean, they'll still probably have the 4 pinnacles, and now it's going to be
that's worth it.
Yeah, for me, I'm trying to boost as high as I can on all my characters when it comes to power level, and so I don't know.
Are you trying to get as high as you can as quick as you can? Because I mean, we're 2 weeks in, we're already over 1,000. 1010's the max.
I am for what I'm doing, especially with like the helps on Sundays. I'm trying to help people with like master and grand. Like I want to start doing grandmaster type stuff with folks in chat, and I think that having a 1010 character or characters will help me with that, especially with the delta scaling.
It makes sense.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the reason to run. Get those 4 pinnacles, because that is a monumental amount of pinnacle rewards for an activity.
Yeah. Like how many pinnacle rewards can you get in any given week?
It's not many. It's your Garden of Salvation raid,
right?
The boss encounter for Pit of Heresy,
right?
Nightmares and Night Falls,
right?
And on weekends, your Flawless chest is a pinnacle gear,
right?
And then with Iron Banner coming, that's going to give you an additional 4.
4 more. That's a lot.
So you're talking about potential 9 for the week if you actually go Flawless, which I'd imagine the majority of the community most likely will not. So make that 8 if you actually get people to get others to run things with. And then the thing that again, and this goes back to the Garden of Salvation loot pool, is that I mean I ran on my Warlock and I started at 1,000 and I left the raid at 1,000.
Yeah.
Because I got 8 energy weapons out of it, like you know. So if I was gonna offer up advice as to how to pursue this, I would say leave your raid for last.
Yeah.
Leave your Garden of Salvation raids for last. Run all the other things first. I think that would be the best way.
Yeah. Push that up. Push up as far as you can that week. Do the Garden of Salvation because you're probably only ever going to get those energy weapons. I did get some pants. I got some pants, and I got a helmet today on my hunter.
Really?
Which have you guys run the raids since the debuffs and everything, or the nerfs?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
So Aura, what was the strat that you guys used?
Well, so the first couple of raids that we didn't have a strat. We went back and tried original things, and we ended up being 3 or 4 phases for the boss room, and 3 phases for the harpy. Yeah, I mean, like Izanagi's got shit on.
Nerfed.
It's bad now. So we thought we'd go back to before the snipers got their buff, which was Mountaintop Recluse, Whisper of the Worm, and that strat wasn't netting us a 2-phase either. It wasn't until we started running Divinity with Xenophage, 1,000 Voices, and Whisper that we started seeing a solid 2-phase. And the other things that came into play more were Enhanced Relay Defender for the boss.
Yep.
We had to have enhanced. We had to have at least 3. You need a Titan with weapons. You need a tether, or a well, and all of those things firing on all cylinders in order to get that 2-phase done. And if we didn't run out of ammunition, we would have gotten it. But then of course, the ammo economy, the way that it was working, as soon as we end the second phase of damage, I kill 1 goblin. And like 80 power bricks jump out of, like, I've never seen so much power sprout out of one enemy in my entire life. I was like, of course you drop all of this now.
Yeah.
So we had to alter things up. It's still a 2 or 3 phase for seasoned players.
Right.
But I tweeted this out And I called out Bungie a little bit on this, saying that the nerf to snipers was unnecessary.
Completely.
And so it's affecting older content that we've already mastered for the most part.
Mhm.
And so when you're making older content more difficult, you're not making it refreshing, you're making it exhausting.
Right.
Was the terminology that I used. It's not gonna be like, oh, it's so refreshing, like using a mountaintop instead of using a Izanagi's in this spot,
Yeah.
or a 21%
No.
delirium. It
It's
doesn't
not a sip of
become
Sprite.
more fun, it becomes more of a chore. And so I feel like I haven't done that many like I haven't done any Grandmaster Nightfalls at all, the 1060, because I'm barely over
Same.
1,000.
Yeah.
I've done the 1,000 and the 1,030 Nightfalls,
Mm-hmm.
and
How is
same
that?
strats. Divinity still
Yeah.
still crucial. And so what the other thing about it is, like, now you're giving us a weapon in the Divinity that rewards non-precision shot.
Right.
You're making a hitbox literally a beach ball.
Right.
And so you're taking an element of precision aim out of the equation, which to me isn't as rewarding either. There's something about hitting that sniper shot when you're in engagements. But so I still don't think that the sniper nerf was necessary, and I've yet to see encounters where it makes sense to me.
Yep.
Like,
Mhm.
I think the one thing I wanted to use an example of is, like, you don't see people sniping in Blindwell. Do you want to know why? Because shit's going on everywhere. You're getting grenades thrown at you from everywhere. You're getting ogres shot from everywhere. You're getting flames from you're getting the little exploding scorn coming at
Right.
you. Screams are all over the place. Like, there's a reason why we're not sniping in Blindwell. It's because the encounter was created to prevent it.
Yeah.
Instead,
Yep.
they're nerfing snipers and throwing us right back in environments where it's allowed, where that's the only thing that really makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're creating precision engagements when taking precision weapons out of the equation.
Yeah. Without throwing
And
hordes
so-
of enemies at you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when every environment and every in-game fight is basically conducive to sniper rifle play. They need to build around that, make things a bit more like Blindwell, a bit more like some of those more hectic fights, like Blindwell. I think Escalation Protocol does a pretty good job of that for the most part, where sitting back in a safe space and sniping isn't the best way to handle
Yeah.
it.
It doesn't work. You're getting,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about Escalation Protocol is you got ads spawning in on 3 different sides of the map. There's not
Mhm.
really that many safe places where you can just hide from things.
Yeah,
And some of the bosses are engineered that if you do, for instance, the ogre that heals when
he heals
Yeah.
himself.
Exploding
Yep.
Thrall get there, now you've got a mechanic that, like, you really need to be up there in that fight if you want to
Yeah.
win it.
Yep, in it.
So, like, they've proven that they can do this, and they've proven that they can do it time and time again. Just unplug here and plug in there, and the weapon issue solves itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We ran
I 100% agree with that.
we ran 1 Divinity and 5 Xenophages today and got a consistent 2-phase on the Dory boss and on
Dory.
on Dory. She's a fish.
She found her family.
She's a fish that
They were
poops.
Vex.
And so on that and the final boss, and we 2-phased, it was bonkers. I hadn't even thought of like Xenophage as even a thing before.
That's what a lot of people, when I tweeted about snipers, a lot of people told me that the new strats were Divinity 1000 Voices, Divinity Xenophage. By the way, Xenophage is incapable
yeah,
of precision damage.
yeah,
Literally, if you hit somebody in the head, it's not a precision multiplier.
right,
Mm-hmm.
So now we're taking a gun that you can hit anywhere. You can hit the toe,
yeah.
and you're doing max damage.
Oh yeah,
And playing the exact same way. You're staying far away and you're firing. It's not like you can
Mhm.
even get close to that boss. So
right. So it's
It made me think that there was something coming down the line in this season that would encourage why they made this change, right? Not keeping it consistent with playing old content, but something that's going on with these Seraph Towers, which, by the way, you can't use a sniper rifle when you're guarding the Seraph Towers in public in the EDZ because
Nope.
ads are spawning all over the place.
Yep.
So it just made me think that there was something that was going to be at the end of the season that would justify why the change was made to snipers, and we haven't seen it yet. And I'm getting impatient.
I mean, since we know there's not a raid coming, I don't think there is anything. I don't think there is really a reason.
I can't imagine
this
we're
is-
just going to throw balls at these uprights on 4 different planets, and that's going to be the end of the PvE season. There's got to be something
Some kind of boss. You
to
think so?
tie it all in, right? There's got to be something at the very end to tie all this in. And I mean, maybe the boss is the frickin' ship. I don't know.
Yeah.
We sniped the Almighty.
Yeah, maybe we can't. Maybe we can't use any Izanagi on the Almighty. I don't know.
Watch it, bros. I'm gonna no scope the Almighty.
We take all the Izanagis and just put them together.
Flip into one gun.
Oh no!
An assembly line of 100 Guardians, all with one Izanagi's honed edge each.
Everyone, honed edge now.
No wonder they took away Outlaw. Sheesh. Yeah, but ultimately, I think that's a big problem with the way that they design encounters in Destiny 2, at least boss encounters. And I think it's really interesting that you brought that up, because it's clear with some of the changes that they made to things like shotguns and swords that they want us to get closer to enemies, but they don't design encounters that are conducive to that sort of play. And this week, we got the ultimate close range weapon for Destiny, and it is absolutely worthless in 95% of the game's content. I'm talking about the Fourth Horseman.
Yep.
Which, of course, after an initial flub by Bungie on Tuesday with requiring completion of a legendary lost sector that wasn't initially available, they fixed that. We wound up getting the quest, finishing it, and getting our hands on the Fourth Horseman. And what you just described there as encounters being conducive to sniper rifle play is, I think, the most perfect way to describe Fourth Horseman in Destiny 2. This was already an exotic that was only really good in D1 in one scenario, when you were running strikes that had arc burn and specialist. That was the only time anybody ever used Fourth Horseman, because you could just go in, get right up under the nuts of whatever boss you were fighting, hold the fire button for about a half a second and watch it die, as all the people on your fire team just blew this thing away. That ain't in Destiny 2. We don't have Arc Burn. We have Arc Singe, which is significantly weaker. Remember, burns in D1 were like 3 times damage for the element. And there is a perk that's kind of like Specialist, which doubled special weapon damage, I want to say, back in Destiny 1. There is a modifier that's like that in Destiny 2. It's called like Elementalist, I want to say. But it's only available in, get this, Heroic Adventures. But when was the last time you ran one of those? And
I forgot they existed.
Yeah, nobody does those. And actually, I don't even think that perk is available in Heroic Adventures anymore, because I think they revamped Heroic Adventures when Forsaken came out and like added in different modifiers. So like that modifier is not even used anymore. It's in the game, but it's not used. And when I was playing around, I played around a lot with Fourth Horseman this week. It is capable of pretty good burst damage. If you get you have to do a bunch of things for it. If you get the Catalyst, which is absolutely necessary if you want to use Fourth Horseman at all in any sort of extended fashion. The Catalyst gives it 1 extra shot, taking its magazine from 4 to 5, and it doubles the weapon's reload speed, which you need if you're going to use it in basically anything. But really, to get any use out of the Fourth Horseman, you're going to have to be fighting a boss, so something like a major, an ultra, or a boss level enemy. Everybody's going to have to be using it. And you have to find a way to mitigate the reload speed, because even with the Catalyst, the reload speed is horrendous on that weapon. So really, it's probably going to be hunters that see the most use out of it, since they can just dodge and get their ammo back instantly. But even with all of that, you're going to have decent burst DPS. But ultimately, a sniper rifle sitting in the back of the battlefield is going to be better. It's going to be safer. It's going to be more consistent. If you try to get up on an enemy's nuts with Fourth Horseman, what's going to happen? They're going to stomp the ground, and you're going to go flying 50 meters that way at 75 kilometers an hour. And if you touch any sort of geological structure, you're going to instantly die. And it really brings forth one of the design problems with Destiny 2's boss encounters right now. We got these buffs. We got these buffs to shotguns. We got this ultimate CQC weapon. We have the buffs to swords and all that kind of stuff. And no real bosses to use it on. You can't sword anything. Shoot, the boss of the Garden of Salvation, you can't even get near him. You can't even get on his nuts.
The thing that comes to mind is like Riven.
Yep.
But there's, I don't know. I think you're going to run out of ammunition on Fourth Horseman before you could Fourth Horseman Riven down. Swords are definitely not going to be the strat there. So like, what else is there that you can get close to? Like some strike bosses, maybe?
There are strike bosses, but they're all going to stomp you away. So like, by the time you've emptied your clip, which thankfully you'll be able to, because Fourth Horseman fires ridiculously quickly, you're going to get stomped away. And either killed that way or slammed into a wall or something like that. It's better to just sit back with a sniper.
It's a curious weapon to bring forward into Destiny 2. Of all the exotics you could bring, from D1, and the one that you bring forward is Fourth Horseman. And have you gotten it, Dan? Did you use it?
I got the Fourth Horseman, and I nicknamed it Infusion Fuel, and that's immediately what happened. I haven't tried to grind out anything else. I haven't tried to grind out the Catalyst because it's not a weapon that I used in D1, and it's not a weapon that I feel like I'll use in D2. I mainly just got it for the collections to clear the quest out of my screen. So I have like this weird completionist thing lately where it's just like, I gotta clear that entire thing out. I can't stand to see any like empty quests or whatever that I hadn't run before. And it could be just my stir craziness.
There's so many things that would have been a better fit.
Yeah.
Because it takes time. Like, that's something that Bungie has to invest time in. I think they said it takes a month for a map to come forward. It's got to take a week or so for a weapon.
They talked about it takes about 2 weeks for them to import assets from D1 and get them up and running correctly in D2.
I wonder why, when we're talking about getting closer to enemies and nerfing sniper rifles, that Fourth Horseman would be the pick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem with Fourth Horseman coming forward. To be perfectly honest, I think at this point they're going to bring just about all of the D1 exotics back, including stuff like Icebreaker and probably even Gallarhorn by the time we get to the end of Destiny 2's lifespan. I think probably the only exotic that isn't going to come back is going to be Pocket Infinity for obvious reasons.
Yeah, because it breaks the game,
It's completely busted. But so I'm not surprised that Fourth Horseman came back. It is an odd choice for right now, and its limitations as a weapon really shine through here in D2. It's like I said, it's capable of some good burst DPS. I'll be fair to the gun. It is capable of good burst DPS that actually out DPSs Izanagi's right now in a burst scenario. Mainly because because Izanagi's got the huge nerf of losing its outlaw ability. But you're really not going to use it for anything. It's not good for clearing ads. It's barely good for taking out majors. It's really only going to be useful in a scenario in which you're fighting bosses. So it's going to be an exotic that sits strapped to your back until you fight a very specific enemy, using very specific things to mitigate that recoil and stack up damage as much as you can. It's meh. It's not a great weapon. And I think part of the reason for that is just the way encounters are designed in Destiny 2. We don't have the arc burn specialist scenario here. Doesn't exist.
And I think even if we did, I'm not sure that would be my play. I feel like there's other things that in terms of an exotic that would be better than
Wardcliff with arc burn.
Or Anarchy.
Yeah.
So there's two right there where if I'm talking about burst damage, I think like my power weapon's probably going to be the one I'm going to go for over anything else. And there's plenty of I mean, is there an arc grenade launcher? Like just a special grenade launcher?
Fighting line?
Is that arc? I thought it was void.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That is void.
So no, maybe not.
Is Aurang's Maul maybe? Like I feel like there might be one out there that would just be
I think
Orwing's choice.
I think that's void too. I'm gonna say.
That actually sounds right.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's an odd choice, and it feels a little out of place.
Getting the gun was neat. The area in the tower that we'll probably never see again was incredible, and that looked like it was
office.
Right. That was beautiful. I mean, that was like super neat, and we might never ever see it again.
I want to hear everybody say Zavala's office 5 times fast.
Zavala's office. I'm not even going to try
Zavala's O-face, dude?
Zavala's orifice?
That's a challenge for when you're home alone this week, just with your thoughts.
And no one can hear you. do it alone when no one's home.
But yeah, it was a great quest. That room was cool. And it has like a lot of lore built into it. But man, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, on the list of D1 returning exotic quests, this is not quite a Thunderlord. I love the Thunderlord returning quest. I love the Last Words quest. I love that the Last Word was a part of the Thorn storyline in D2. I thought that was fantastic. I thought the Thorn quest in this was fantastic. Yeah, Fourth Horseman has been kind of a meh experience thus far, and I think it's really emblematic of the PvE content in the Season of the Worthy entirely, because it's a little meh, just a little.
Well, I'm trying to think of like other PvP weapons that they could bring in, that they could have brought in with this season, like to fit more the theme of what's going on with Trials.
Jalo Supercell. Oh,
Yeah.
you've got Risk Runner though.
You got Risk Runner.
but,
yeah.
But
Like-
Necrochasm.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of other ARs that were exotic, because I feel like that would be
ARs
fit
would be
this.
really good.
The Fabian strategy is what you're looking for there.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Although with this meta, who knows? That'd probably be a god tier gun.
The one with the elephant ears on the side.
I couldn't name that thing worth a damn. That was sweet business before we had sweet business, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
they took what they were trying to
It was.
accomplish with that gun and turned it into sweet business. But just trying to think of whatever ARs. I think Kostov in this game.
Yes, stuff is in this game. It's a green, I think, right? Or it's.
I don't know. I don't
It's-
remember.
I think you get it from. I think you get the base one from the first mission.
Even if it wasn't exotic, there's things like the Still Piercer,
Yeah.
like the Susanoo and the Tlaylock that would have been
Tlaylock.
wildly
Great.
Oh,
popular
dude.
if they were brought in as exotic guns, you know?
Yeah.
And like, of all the things to choose from, who the hell was the data point that they even pulled information from the Fourth Horseman from? Like, where did they look back at the charts and be like,
This
400.4 billion uses of the Fourth Horseman occurred
Yeah.
in between? Like, what? What do you mean? No, that gun probably wasn't used more than 4,000, 5,000 times.
No,
By
like I
4,000,
said,
5,000 unique individual. Like,
only used on Arcburn specialist weeks. That's it. That's the only time I can think of that anybody ever brought out the Fourth Horseman. It wasn't a raid weapon.
Yeah.
It wasn't something you use in PvP at all. It was just in certain strikes and daily missions when you had that modifier combination available. So it's a little kind of an odd choice for it to be brought back, at least at this point in time in D2. Like I said, I think all of the D1 exotics are probably going to get brought back. This was an odd time to bring back Fourth Horseman.
Yeah.
I
Which,
guess in terms of exotics, we'll just have to wait for that Cabal LMG
yeah.
to come our way. But all right, boys, I think that's all the news we had to talk about this week. That's
Yeah.
pretty much everything, right? Is it time to move on to audience questions?
I believe so. Quick and dirty.
Right on. Let's do it.
M. Mills asks, a lot of streams got pretty salty over the map/weapons and trials this weekend. How do you stay how do you stay positive when playing PvP?
I think it's impossible for everyone to always stay positive. I think we all have our moments of. Anybody who takes PvP a little bit seriously has their moments of frustration,
Yeah.
salt, anger. I'm
Mhm.
guilty of it. I think it was real bad at first, and as the weekend has progressed and people started to understand a bit more about how the weapons were working in that map, it got better. I'm not seeing as many people as
Yeah.
tilted as I did on Friday and Saturday. I'm seeing a lot more people be successful as the weekend progresses as well. So I think that was just an initial reaction, especially since I think the majority of players were expecting convergence, aka
Yeah.
Pantheon from D1,
Right.
and
yeah.
not Anomaly, which Anomaly was only the Trials map in Destiny 1, I believe, once.
You might be right about
Yeah.
that.
I think it was only
Yeah.
one time that they had it as Trials in all of D1. So I think that was why you saw a lot of the issues this weekend early on. I think as the weekend progresses, even from tonight into tomorrow, you're probably going to see a little bit more dialed back. I hope that doesn't answer how you stay positive. That's I mean, I don't know if you were there, Mills, when I got my mountaintop done using the grenade launchers in what was the control where like everything's one shot? Momentum control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point you just lose your mind and it becomes like a shit show.
Yeah.
And like
Yep.
I lost my GD mind by the time I got my mountaintop. I was as clowning could possibly get.
Yep.
At that point. And I think you just reach that breaking point if you continue to beat yourself over the head with it.
Yeah.
Dan, you stay pretty positive when you play. What do you think?
Well, that's because I don't feel like I'm that good. But like, I don't know. It's for me, I don't see it as an end all be all goal of my gaming experience that day. It's something that I enjoy taking part in, even like with quest steps and everything. I jumped into Classic Mix. I think it was the first week of the season, just to like get that over with, get that bounty over with, so that I could move on with the rest of my day. And I ended up running into Jaden, and I find my own fun in it. Like, I was teabagging Jaden from here to sundown in that match. Every time I got him, I have an anonymous Autumn that I love, and like just like ta 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 ta, and like just was bagging him, and that like that's how I create my fun, is just finding something to do. If it's a weapon thing where you have to get so many kills in order to get this weapon to unlock, I just start counting them down. It's not so much about like I have to protect my KD. It's about I just need to get this done. So let's nose to the grindstone, get it done, knock it out. And with Iron Banner, it's just I'm hanging out with my friends, being
it's more
pretty
about the
aimless.
camaraderie than it is about.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that applies to trials though.
I haven't stepped into trials yet though. And the big thing, I will step into trials, and I will take that as seriously as my team takes it.
Right.
I think that's what will set it apart for me. But at the end of the day, that's not going to it's not going to bruise my ego if I don't get it. Right? I'll try. If I don't get it, you know what? Next week.
Yeah.
Because there's really nothing, as far as I know, the ornaments for the weapons, for exotic weapons that are tied to trials, those don't drop from trials. They're from Eververse. If it was something like that was like
Of course.
a carrot on the end of the stick to go after, I can see that being a thing that I would want. Or like if there were an adept weapon type, this has been talked about before, but if there was an adept weapon of these that was good in PvE, sure, I'd go for that too. But I don't know. I'll take it as seriously as my team takes it, and I'll laugh at everybody who bags me over something and they can't message me. So it's great.
I think it's a pretty good answer. What's next?
Gray Fox has 2 questions. The first of which, with the season slowly ramping up to something, or with the season, is it slowly ramping up to something? Is Bungie losing steam with its season model, aka 6-player activity, exotic, maybe PvE, PvP event?
I think this is what a seasonal model is supposed to be, and I just think we don't like it.
Yeah.
I think their model is correct, and it's a model that we don't care to build.
Yeah.
Because we've had so many different models.
I don't think that's it. I mean, I think it's like, you go to the hobby store and you look at the models to build, and all of them are like a 98 Ford Taurus.
Just what I was looking for.
Like that's like one might be the wagon, the other's the sedan, but like no matter what, it's still a Ford Taurus, and I think like we don't feel like building a Ford Taurus right now.
There's
like we want to build a Lamborghini or a jet or a boat, like. Why do you have a Ford Taurus?
There's a Ford Taurus, and then there's one other model. There's only one of them, and it's a Dodge Stratus.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. I think that's where we're at as a consumer base.
Yeah.
So is it ramping up? I hope. I hope,
Yeah,
I hope that we're not just throwing balls into uprights, dude.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
Hobby Lobby only had Saturns, dude.
Oh man. Gray Fox also asks, with DMG's comment on the choice between trials weapons or rituals, is Bungie just spread too thin with all the issues and maybe a lack of focus on things? I think
Yes and yes. Bungie's a big company. They've got a lot of people working there. It makes me scratch my head a little bit when they tell the stories of being spread too thin for stuff like this. And I saw that comment. Basically, for those who don't know, the notion of pinnacle weapons being or not being a thing this season outside of Iron Banner was brought up again. And DMG04 responded to it basically saying, hey, we're taking in feedback on this, but like, if we were to go and make some pinnacle weapons for this season, we might not be able to make any more trials weapons this season, which I guess if you're an indie game studio would be understandable. I still kind of, I think it's a stretch to refer to Bungie as an indie game studio, even though they are independent. They don't have the big Activision behind them anymore, but still, there's what, like more than 300 people working at Bungie.
right.
Well, so
It's a
here's
little
the
bit
thing,
weird.
though. So with each season and these weapons, we're also getting new perks.
Yeah.
We called for
Yep.
Bungie to experiment. We're getting perks, and one of them that came with Trials gear is called Celerity,
yeah.
Yes.
which when you're the last Guardian standing, you get additional buffs to this, that, and the other thing. Don't quote me. It's somewhere with handling and stability and accuracy or
Yeah,
something. But,
yeah.
and last season we got Vorpal. And the element one, elemental capacitor, I want to
Something
say,
like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
was new with last season as well. So
Yeah.
like, it's not just that they're creating new weapons, but they're also creating the perks. I don't think it's the weapons that take a long time. They've got think about it. You've got a design team that has to actually draw it,
Mm-hmm.
and the drawings are very intricate. By the way, these guns are very
They
sophisticated.
are.
You've got the weapons team that also has to create the perks for it, and then they've got X number of weeks to try it out and see if it's broken, if it breaks other perks, if it breaks
There's a lot that goes
in-game
into that.
things. So like, if we look at that side of it, there's more to it than just being like, I'm just going to create a gun that goes pew.
Mhm.
Why
Yeah.
can't I have more pew? So
Which is why I said yes to both of the questions there. I think, yes, they are probably spread a little bit too thin. We know that part of Bungie is working on something else right now. We've got Christopher Barrett's team. They're working on,
Matter,
I think,
whatever that is.
yeah, rumor is some kind of hero shooter. And then, we've got part of Bungie's team probably working on whatever the sequel to Destiny 2 is going to be. And then probably a much smaller current live team working
Yeah.
on the live game right now, which I think they actually acknowledged a twab or two ago when they said they've made basically a new team that's going to be responding directly to Destiny 2 as a live game. So yeah, they're probably spread a bit thin when it comes to focus on certain things. The focus is probably on the future,
Yeah.
not on retroactively making ritual or pinnacle weapons for this season when they didn't make it before.
Right.
none of them have mattered since Recluse. I mean, Revoker. I would say none of them have really mattered since Revoker. I don't see Python being talked about a lot. I forget the name of the sidearm from Vanguard last season.
Buzzard,
Yeah.
something like that.
Buzzard.
Even Hush really didn't get a whole lot of airtime. You haven't
Mhm.
seen Dominant, Pinnacle, or Ritual, or whatever you want to call them, since Revoker, Mountaintop, Recluse.
Right.
Right.
And so I don't think we're losing a lot of value there, per se.
I think it was just something
Yeah.
for people to collect.
That's it.
That
100%.
yeah.
And so now where I've already seen value is in the Trials weapons.
Mhm.
The shotgun, people are clamoring to try and get a quick draw slide shot or opening shot with rifled or full choke and whatnot. And do not sleep on the AR. I was watching Mork
Some of
play
them are
with the
really-
AR. It is wildly strong in this current meta. It's a laser beam on PC. It's insane. So, and we have yet to see what the sniper is going to look like. And apparently, the sniper is going to be something that people are going to be really looking forward to acquiring next week as well. So, they just took the value from one section and just slid it on
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Focus on trials, which while I say I understand why people want pinnacle weapons and ritual weapons to grind for, those are cool. Those are nice little seasonal goals to go for. And without them, a lot of people are sitting back and saying, so all I have to look forward to, if I'm not a PvP player, all I have to look forward to are these bunkers and the Seraph weapons that are tied to them. Well, maybe they're not that interested in that, but Bungie focused on trials for this, and I would argue that was the right decision. Trials of Osiris has come back in probably the best way it potentially could have in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And if they only had enough manpower to work on trials or to make pinnacle weapons like Buzzard that you would have been grinding for, I would argue them focusing on trials was the right thing.
Yeah.
I want more, though. I want them to be able to put out pinnacle weapons, and I keep saying pinnacle. They're called ritual weapons.
Yeah.
Now. I want them to put out ritual weapons for people who don't play PvP, but I'm not mad that they focused on trials for this season. And I think it's pretty obvious they focused on trials for this season.
And they're playing to sunset stuff too. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to create pinnacle weapons that are kind of like a flash in the pan.
Not happy about that.
Well, there's part of me that is like, okay, I want to see weapons come up that are more useful, or like that. Not useful. I want to see weapons come up that do replace the weapons that I use, because I end up using the same 5 things, like most of the time.
Yeah.
And having something strong, replacing something strong with another thing strong isn't bad for the most part. You're still going to have those weapons. They're just not going to be useful in end game or pinnacle activity. So I don't know. I'm of two minds on the thing. I want to use my recluse for everything forever, but at the same time, if something replaces my recluse with everything,
I want to grind a Callus mini tool that I think would replace the recluse, and I'm okay with Midnight Coup taking a step back. Still a strong weapon.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that not being able to be infused. I look forward to any of the forge, although Kindled Orchid really feels good now that they changed the 140 animation.
Right? Yeah.
Really feels good. I wouldn't be opposed to. I mean, Anarchy is such a crutch weapon right now. I look forward to when Anarchy kind of gets to take a back seat. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is.
I also don't have Anarchy.
You don't? Aura.
No,
What?
I don't have Anarchy.
Neither do
Aura.
I.
What? TBL.
I'm
Aura.
a blacksmith,
What?
though. I am a blacksmith. I don't have Anarchy, though. It
I'm
wasn't part of
home-
the collections for the seal.
I'm home for the next 2 weeks doing. If you guys want to raid at some point, I would.
Hey, I'm down.
I have to give it. Juggalo Spider got me through every single Scourge that I've done recently.
Okay.
And I feel like we did Flawless together. We did all the challenges that I didn't already do. The chests, everything I needed for the blacksmith that was related to the raid. Juggalo Spider was kind enough to help me with him, and he and his crew of really cool people. So if he doesn't take offense to, or if we bring you in on that run, I would say sure. But I feel like I'd be cheating on him if I ran a Scourge.
I can bring him in. I know Juggalo Spider. He's a great dude.
All right.
Would love to have him. We have Russ with what new weapon archetypes could be added to Destiny 2 successfully?
At this point, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if they need to add anything.
Throw my light machine gun at my enemies if I'm out of bullets.
So Borderlands 3.
I want to be able to throw my avalanche.
The Borderlands route.
Yeah, I want to be able to throw my weapon at. I want to be able to pick it back up again because I love my avalanche, but I want to be able to throw my avalanche at people.
Oh my god.
I mean, you're missing railgun. You're missing like a heavy railgun kind of thing.
Yeah.
You might be missing like mini bombs, a gun that shoots like that are controllable. I mean, grenade launchers that bounce around and you can control when they explode are different than some form of a grenade launcher that actually shoots grenades that kind of roll. It would be cool to shoot something that it reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy when Star-Lord throws that thing in the ground that sucks everything into it.
Oh yeah.
The gravity bomb kind of thing. That would be something that could be unique. I still think you're missing, and the best place to pull for archetypes that we could be added are enemy weapons. It took us forever to get a Lord of Wolves, which is
Oh, yeah.
one of the captain's weapons.
Yep.
A Hive Boomer.
Yeah.
I want a boomer.
Yeah, a Hive Boomer would be a cool version of a gun to bring in. I think it was unique in Halo that you could pick up the alien race weapons, the carbine.
That was always cool.
And stuff like that. So I think that's kind of the things that if I was going to pick, we'd be missing.
Yeah, that's
Hive shotgun with the 3.
Oh, yeah.
Annihilates me. That'd be interesting.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, I'd take that. And thankfully, that looks like what we're going to be getting later on this season with the hidden exotic LMG. It looks like it's the giant cannon that Cabal Colossus used.
Yeah.
So more of that.
Yeah.
I'll take more of that.
Butt Coffee asks, and this is the final question of the day. So we stopped the Undying Mind, then reclaimed the Sundial, and now we are restoring Rasputin. Do you guys have any speculation towards what the grand tie together will be next season?
Yes, actually. Because if you look at what's been going on here, it's basically just been fixing the mess of a story that Destiny 2 has been or was in year 1. First, we had the Undying Mind stuff, then which led into fixing Curse of Osiris. Now we're improving upon Warmind. I think the finality is going to be finality, like this is Mortal Kombat.
Finality.
It's gonna be basically fixing the Dreaming City stuff. We're gonna probably revisit the curse there, Savathun, and whatever's going on with that. It'll probably also have something to do with the triangles. I'd imagine Savathun's gonna be locked in with the Doritos.
Doritos Vex, right?
The Vex worship it, but the Doritos themselves are not Vex.
What the hell do the Vex worship?
Darkness. They jumped through different timelines, saw that Darkness won a bunch of them, and said, "All right, we're sticking our dick in that."
So I had to go back and replay that story. Like, if you go to the moon, if you're looking for powerful rewards, you go back and you play some story modes for powerful rewards. That's like a tier 2 or something. If you're below 1,000, it's a really good thing to do. And one of the missions I went back and played was that final mission.
Yeah.
And the thing that we bring back to Eris is a beach ball.
Yeah. It is a beach ball.
Yeah.
It's literally a beach ball. Like, it's like whoever the Vex worship, they gave us an actual beach ball. And since Eris has never had any fun in her entire life, she has no idea what this beach ball actually is. So she's spending all this time evaluating literally a beach ball.
I have, based on that, I have speculation on who the Vex worship. Mike Love from the Beach Boys.
It all ties in. I don't think Aura realized that he was tying into what you were thinking of, but it all ties in.
Oh God.
Beautiful. There we solved it.
What if he comes walking out of that Dorito?
Oh my God. He comes out, he's like, "Hey, you cool cats, what's going on?"
Come join the darkness, guys.
It's great.
You guys,
come on down.
You like my Hawaiian shirt?
I can get you.
No,
one
Mike
too.
Love, you're a dick.
Here, take this darkness.
Brian
where all
Wilson
these robots
deserves
come
justice.
from?
Well, there you go. So that's what was behind the darkness all along. No wonder he said he was our salvation in that cutscene.
but in all seriousness, what if we see the stranger come back?
I see that happening. I do.
Yeah.
There's been just like with the hints about Saint 14 that finally paid off, with Season of Dawn. There were hints like that to the stranger back in year 1 of D2, and then some of the lore bits throughout there, especially throughout Warmind. There were a lot of hints to the stranger in Warmind, basically confirming her identity as Anna's sister, Elsie. Yeah. And with Anna Bray coming back into the spotlight, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if they finish things up with the Exo Stranger popping back up after however many years it's been to say, "Hey, let's pick up where we left off back in year 1."
The first thing she better say is that she wants her gun back. And you want to talk about an exotic you can bring back? You can bring back the Stranger rifle.
Yeah, that one was great.
that was the exotic ability on that was missing shots returned them to the magazine.
Yeah.
Right? Or was it landing shots returned to the magazine?
I
I think it was
remember.
landing shots. I think it was landing precision shots returned all of those shots to the magazine so that if you were hitting your shots, you could just keep firing. So good sustained DPS. I would take that. See, there's a weapon that they could bring back. There's a D1 gun they could bring back that I would love to get my hands on.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun. It'd be super fun.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Hand it back to her. It's all
If they did the
dirty.
Dreaming City
We'd have to go
stuff
back
and-
to somewhere where we left it. We'd have to go back
Yeah.
to the what is it called? Oh God, Russia in D1. Come on now. What was Earth actually called?
Oh.
Cosmodrome.
It's the
The
Cosmodrome.
Cosmodrome. Jesus.
I like the thought of that. She comes back. She's like, "Hey, Guardians, good to see you. Do you have my gun?"
Yeah.
So the ghost looks at you. You look at your ghost. You're like, "Did you? I didn't.
I'll-
Did you?"
I'll be right back. You got to
Yeah.
make a run back through the 0-hour mission to get back into the vault.
You got to run it backwards though.
Yeah.
We have to
Get it back.
bring Gaul back to life and run all the way back down through the ship. And
You got to do a reverse Superman. Yeah.
Revert. There we go. It's around the earth. I caught that reference, Dan. I understood that reference.
Oh, that's so nutty. Why did they?
I'm
think
looking
that
at
would
No
work?
Time to Explain now, and like, yeah, I would love to see this gun back in the game. Full auto, and yeah, the ability was precision hits. Basically, immediately gave you your ammo back. That'd be cool. That'd be a very cool weapon to have back in D2.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
So that would be cool within like a Dreaming City campaign thing because isn't it thought that she's with the Queen?
There was hints towards that
Yeah.
with one of the messages from the Queen. There's
Yeah.
hints that she was talking to the stranger in one of those visits that we did a year ago.
Yeah. So I don't know. That would be cool. That would be
That'd
an
be cool.
interesting that would be an interesting way to kind of tie loose ends with Destiny 2 is to like bring it all the way back from the beginning of Destiny 1. and
Yeah.
just fill in that
Big
loop.
circle.
Let that joke have the circle ending that it needs and then we can move on to whatever else we're going to be doing.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Yeah. But that is all
Well,
the questions
alright.
for tonight.
All right, then. I do believe that brings us to the end of episode 232 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Or is it 233?
This is
232?
232? Last week was 231.
it says 233 in the call.
It says 233 in the call. Well, maybe I messed up.
That's the
think it's-
number of the episode. Maybe it's episode maybe Dan messed up.
Whatever Dan said last time. Let me look on Spotify to see.
Plus one. Look at chat having to save us here. 232. Episode 200.
They don't know. They just see the thing on. It is
I trust you,
232.
chat.
It is 232.
See?
231 was uploaded last week. All right.
I love you, chat. You had it.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 232 of the Planet Destiny podcast. This is the end of this one. But before we get on out of here, we are, of course, going to let you know where you can find us all across the internet, starting with the man himself, Mr. Dan Finity. What's going on, buddy?
Hi guys. You can find me. Man, I don't know how many days a week I'm going to be streaming this week. It's been kind of bonkers. But you can find me on twitch.tv/Danfinity, where the eyes are eyes. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Danfinity, where the eyes are L's. I am doing side quests again. This past week, I interviewed Saints Workshop. He's a maker, doing 3D printing.
Oh.
For Destiny 2.
Oh, is he?
Oh, is he? Oh, is he? Check this out, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, is he?
it's a slick looking rental. What's the roll on that, Aura?
It's so funny you say that.
For the audio listeners here, you need to go to the YouTube channel and check this out.
Yeah.
We have got the Erentil, the real Erentil, Aura's real Erentil. It's got
My
his roll and
Erentil,
everything.
Gambit, Chrome, and everything. MS3 scope, and well, it had a little issue in shipping. I have to fix.
Oh,
but,
no.
it's here.
It's just
It's
you just
my
modified the
Erentil,
stock.
not just a 3D printed one. This
Yeah.
is my gun.
Yeah.
He made my gun.
That's
pretty
awesome. Dude does great work, and he's going to be on your show, Dan?
Yeah, I interviewed him. He was on this past Friday's episode, and I'm looking to interview more people within the Destiny community over the next couple weeks because I got nothing else to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, just be well, take care of one another, and yeah, that's it.
Right on. Aura, what about you, man?
You can catch me at twitch.tv/Aura. At some point, my schedule has been garbage lately. The game plan this week is to do solo comp, get that 5,500. We'll see about those pinnacles because Dan brings up a pretty good point when it comes to Grandmaster Nightfalls and whatnot and 1060 encounters. I do want to be able to take care of that. So we'll be live as often as I possibly can this week. My wife works in the front lines of this thing. So I got to take care of what I got to take care of around the house first and foremost ourselves. But we should be live on twitch.tv/Aura. You can also catch me on Twitter, twitter.com/evilaura, 3VIL_AURA for all of your Mimi and Mom probably bitching about something needs.
Right on. Make sure you go there tonight and wish him a very happy birthday.
Because if you don't, if you don't,
and you know, he can hit you from wherever he is in the U.S. because it's an errand till. Of course he will. God, I think it's beautiful.
No, he did such a crazy good job on this thing, man.
Yeah.
It's wild how good. Even down to the wires on it. And like I said, I was like, I need this to be my color, Gambit Chrome. And he's like, yep, I got you.
Got you, bro. That's unbelievable how much work that dude puts in. It's crazy. Good stuff there.
Yeah.
But of course, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. This week's going to be more of the same, more Division 2, Warlords of New York, more Monster Hunter World Iceborne. We had the Safi Jiva update drop a couple of days ago. I've been playing that raid nonstop over the past couple of days. Basically, anytime I've had free time, I've been playing Monster Hunter World and having a lot of fun with that. We'll be having more of that as we go off in the future with the usual videos for new stuff on Planet Destiny's YouTube channel and, of course, live streams on my Twitch channel. Make sure you go check all that out. But all right, everybody, that is it for this one. Thank you all so much for tuning in to episode 232 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We'll catch you all next week. Bye, everybody.